Hi, everyone. Sorry I'm a couple minutes late. Hello, my loves. Hi. Hi, everyone. How are you? Oh, my goodness. Look at all of you. Wow. Sorry I was a couple minutes late. I am in a time warp over here. Let's see. Where is our chat? Hi. So, can you guys hear me? Hi, Amaran. How are you, Angel? Hi, Chris. Hi, Michelle. Hi, Crystal. Hi, Natasha and Dr. Marlene and Sheila. Wait, what was that show when we were little again? Where it was like Romper Room and the teacher was saying the names of everybody and greeting everyone. I loved that. Hi. Hi, Tammy. Hi, Carla from Idaho. I was born in St. Mary's, Idaho. Carla. Alexandria. Hi, Angel. Hi, Heather. Hi, Wendy. Wendy from Alberta. How are you, sweetheart? It was good to hear your voice. Miss Nancy of Romper Room. That's it. I'm Miss Zena of Club Magic Hour Room. Great. So good to see you guys. Hi, Suni. Hi, Laura. Awesome. Well, we have a great group tonight. I'm so okay. Sylvia is asking for our prayers tonight. She was in the hospital this weekend and need further studies. Okay. You've got that. You've got that from us, Sylvia. We'll say a prayer for you. And Terry, nice to see you, honey. And Jean, I'm glad you're loving Ruby Moon. It's so good for you. Hi, Carla. Hi. Okay, well, tonight we are going to be working on I don't know how, some of you may have missed last week's. I would recommend going back to it and doing the funeral for bad habits. And I'd love to hear, you already out of Ruby Moon, Jennifer? Get it, girl. We do have some in stock, so I'll have to check and make sure they're on the site. Last week we did the funeral for a bad habit. And what I noticed with a lot of us was the bad habit was a mindset habit. It was a thinking habit. It was a way that we keep ourselves small, or we keep ourselves from being vulnerable, or we keep ourselves from doing the things we most want to do in our lives. And oftentimes it's not the things we most we don't avoid the things we don't want to do. Oftentimes we avoid with a big commitment the things we do want to do, because I think there's part of us that doesn't really have a handle on what would it be like, what is the vision of our life if we had everything we wanted, and if we were experiencing everything we wanted to experience. And so what happens is we can sometimes hit what Gay and Katie Hendricks call an upper limit. And that upper limit is usually based on us having a sense that we don't deserve anything above a certain level of joy, or a certain level of wellness, or a certain level of love or wealth or connection. And usually that upper limit was set by someone or a situation or a circumstance when we weren't actually in charge. Okay, so when we're little and we get really excited and rambunctious in class, or we do something like that, we're usually jumping in and they say, oh, be quiet. Or maybe you were told like, oh, you're too loud, or you talk too much, or focus. So what happens is that influence starts to put a limit on how much expression we can express, how much joy we can receive or express, all of that. So today what we're going to do is we're going to actually be working on alleviating those upper limits and really knowing when we're hitting one. And I love upper limit problem is ULP. It's an ULP. So I always say, with the people who I study Gay and Katie's work with, like, oh, I'm hitting an ULP, and we all kind of know what that means. So with you guys, I want to really make sure that we're hitting, we're hitting the language so that you guys can go, oh, that's just an ULP, no big deal. I'm gonna move through it now. Okay, so we're going to be working on ULPs, and we're going to be working on triggers and what makes habits, good habits stick. And we're going to go through a meditation and some journaling with that. So everybody grab your tea, and I'm going to show you guys a little bit of tea ceremony tonight. I've been promising you, and this is a brand new set I've never used. So, oh, that's not that pretty. Here, let me do it this way. Trying to figure out how to, there we go. Oops, sorry about that. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to do this. Okay, there we go. All right, so tonight, because I'm really caffeinated, I'm gonna do mantra mint because this calms my nervous system really well with the ashwagandha. Okay, so first I'm going to rinse everything. I'm going to pull this. And normally when I'm doing this in like a real thoughtful meditation, I'm very focused on my hand motion. But tonight, since we're going to be focused on replacing bad habits with good habits, I'm going to just do this a little quickly. And we're going to be teaching classes. Sorry about my boobs here. I'm just going to do this. Rambunctiousness, right? Okay, so here we go. Okay, so I'm just going to do a little bit mantra mint. Gong fu cha you always use more because you steep it many, many times. And that's mantra mint in case you guys want to see that. Here, I'll put it there. Okay. I'm gonna let that sit. I'm just gonna rinse this out a little bit more. And remember, the reason why we do tea ceremony and the reason why we take time for these rituals is so that we can take time for self-care, connection to our hearts, connection to our souls, connection to each other. And in this, we will recreate our world from the inside out. It's the little things like having a cup of tea. We think it's pretty inconsequential, but like I've said before, it has a butterfly effect and it will actually help the world become a better place. The more calm we are in our hearts and in our beings, the more calm our world is. And Lord knows the world needs some calming, right? Okay, thus the mantra mint. Here we go. So you can see that. As the world keeps moving, we are slowing down. And this cup is for you. And when I'm doing this by myself, I pour a cup for my guardian angel. Okay, my loves, here we go. So bring your cup up to your heart. Okay. So first, what we like to do in the tea ceremony is we like to draw ourselves deeply into our senses. And our senses are, I believe, how God or how the divine, how nature speaks through you and experiences life through you. I love to be danced. I love to be breathed through. I love to be sung through. I love to be seen through. I love to be heard through. I love to be felt through by the divine, by that which breathes me and that which fills through me. So oftentimes when I'm doing tea ceremony, and when we do tea ceremony, we bring ourselves into the senses, because our senses are really a gift, and to be able to feel them fully is a way to commune with all that is and all that is possible in this human body. Okay, so with your cup, take a deep breath. I'd like you to go into the heart, into the solar plexus, into the belly, into the womb where your creativity center is, and then into the base of the spine. And as you exhale, exhale one long exhale. Blowing out the tension, blowing out the heartache, blowing out the sadness, blowing all of it out of your body. Another deep breath in through the nose, down through the throat, the truth center, down through the heart, into the solar plexus, the creative center of your womb, down to the base of the spine. And as you exhale, exhale all the worry, any fear, any sadness, concern. If you have test results that need to be had or an unknown, breathe out any of your own story that goes on top of the unknown, because often the unknown is simply us allowing, right? We need to surrender. One more deep breath. And as you inhale this all the way down, slowly through your body, fill your lungs with possibility and light, all the way down to the base of your spine. And then as you exhale, exhale a blessing into the world, into the space around you, a blessing to tell the truth, to reach your highest potential, to allow the divine to work through you, to do the good works that you know you are capable of, and all the power and all the grace moving through you. Wonderful. So as you bring your teacup to your nose, you can ask yourself, see, what do I feel? What do I feel? I feel the first sense of calm today. Today's been a rough one. I feel grateful for each of you. I feel thankful for tea. What do you feel? I feel my body relax. A few deep breaths changes everything. If only I remembered to do that today more often. But that's why we're here, to remind ourselves this is possible. You can have a little tea ceremony that takes only 2 minutes or 1 minute throughout the day. And as you bring your cup a little closer, you can ask yourself, what do I hear? What do I hear? I always hear the traffic outside the tea salon. I always hear my quiet voice telling me that everything's going to be okay. I got a little bit of the worry gene from my gypsy Ukrainian grandma. The free-spirited side always has the other side. What do you hear? Then you can ask yourself, what do I see? You can look at your cup. I see purple clay, Yixing from China. What do you see? I see potential. I see my beautiful tea salon, which I had to really clean up when I got home. My son ran it for 2 weeks while I was gone. Yeah, it was a little reminiscent of his bedroom. But anyway, it's all cleaned up now. What do you see? Okay. And then you can ask yourself, what do I smell? What do I smell? And then you can ask yourself, what do I taste as you take your sip? I swear this is an angel elixir today. What do you taste? Feel it on the front of your tongue, the sides of your tongue, the back of your tongue, as it moves slowly down your throat. And you can slurp. You shoot it like tequila. What do you taste? And as you center into your senses, you start to realize that you're home, that your home is in your body. Your home moves from within you and is expressed outward. And as you connect to your senses and you connect to the outer world, if you do so from a place of calm and gentleness with yourself through breath and through time and through care of yourself, you actually recreate the world. It gets a little more sparkly when you're centered and you have had time and rest for yourself. I'm going to pour a couple more and then we're going to start our ceremony. Okay. Yes, I'm going to source these for you when things settle out a little. Okay, so I wrote out my lesson for today, and I just want you all to know that if you uh, didn't have your funeral for your bad habit last week, you can always go back to the video and you can watch the funeral. And it's a pretty great process. And if you guys have any feedback on how the funeral was for you, let me know in the comments. But today, you know, because last week we held a funeral for our bad habits, and many of you guys put internal habits, mindset habits, we laid them to rest. And I don't know if it worked for you. It worked better for me. I laid to rest my need to know everything because, as my psychic reader told me right before last week's session with us, she said, if you have to know everything, you give up your chance of having the universe co-create with you, and it limits possibility. And I thought, well, I don't want to limit possibility just because I'm a control freak. I have to learn to surrender, and I have to learn to give up the need to know everything. And so here we are. And today I really don't feel like I know much. So I guess it's working. So anyway, I'm glad, Crystal, you appreciated it. And Candace says things started changing. Good news, sweetheart. So, so today what we're going to do is we're going to fill the space where the habit left. So unless you clean out the closet, you can't buy a new wardrobe. Unless you clean out the clutter, you don't have the chi moving through your home. Unless you clean out the toxins, you can't have your own form of ideal health. So what we have to do is when we're moving through and we're releasing the things that aren't really helping us in our lives, or that are making us hold on too hard to things that aren't necessarily our best self, or you know, and oftentimes those things are mindsets, so they're upper limit problems, right? We aren't used to feeling happier or healthier or more energized or more joy or more creative or more loved, so we create an upper limit to stop us. It used to be for me, every time I would have a big business win, I'd call my dad and let him knock me down to size. He loves me. He's Eeyore. So I no longer do that because I need to celebrate my wins, because otherwise, you know, it gets a little exhausting. So, so what we're going to do is this week we're going to replace our less constructive habits that we laid to rest last week with more constructive habits. And humans are habitual creatures. I know you know that, but we can't actually live without habits. If we don't have any habits, we don't really have schedules, and it can be a little rough. But good habits and positive habits like tea and tea time, these are the things that sustain us. These are the things that grow us, and these are the things that help us become healthier and more possible as we move through time. Our Tea Tuesdays, a habit we've gotten into, and it sure is a joy of my life. It actually makes my whole week better. So we have triggers that cause us to go into an autopilot mode as well. So I was really noticing, I took a lot of time in the last 7 days since our funeral for bad habits to see what actually triggers me to have to know everything. And it is always fear. I noticed it's always a fear trigger. I have to stop, I have to breathe, and then I have to do something to get my joy quotient up. So what I'll do is I just started dancing again. I started turning on music. I started dancing around the house. I started dancing with my girlfriend who I was staying with in Texas. I started just dancing because I don't know what's going to happen. All I know is that if I feel better and my vibration is up and I'm in my body and in my senses, it's going to be better than not having all of those things. So I've been getting back into the habit of dancing. And when I was 21, I learned to belly dance, and it's how I got over an eating disorder. It wasn't the only thing, but it helped. So what are the habits that we want to replace the negative habits with? So if your habit was negative thinking, or thinking you don't deserve something, or thinking you can't do something, or that you're, or thinking you're, or being scared of failure, what can you replace that with now? What can we solidify in our day-to-day life that is going to really turn us into possibility from that state of paralyzation? So what triggers cause us to go into autopilot mode, where we might go back into the mindset of limitation, or we might go back into the doubt, or we might go back into a bad habit of hurting our bodies, eating crap food, or not taking time for breath work or exercise or love or connection? So one thing that we have to remember is that you are in charge. You are absolutely in charge. So if you start to feel yourself slip, that's when you are giving control or losing, not being in charge of your moment. So as soon as you can become conscious that you're going back into the bad habit or back into the mindset of limitation, you all you need is a pattern interrupt. So we're going to write some of those out that we can practice now. And if any of you guys are like me and you have more than one bad habit that you want to put to rest, you can make several. So you command your universe. It doesn't necessarily feel that way right now, right? There are forest fires all over my beautiful state of California. It hit 121 degrees here on Saturday. That's quite scary. The day before it was 118 degrees. We're in a situation where the climate is shifting rapidly, and we don't feel that we're in charge. And other people are in charge of the decisions that have led us to this. And so what happens is that I go into despair. And that despair is always based on the fact that I don't know what's going to happen, and I don't feel like I have any say in it. So what I've been focused on doing every time I feel that is I've been feeling a generative energy of generating joy and gratitude, thinking about, okay, so I don't have control over this exact situation. This is a file that I don't have in my filing cabinet to manage. There's nothing here that I can file. But what I can do is I can buy a carbon offset. I can add more ecological options for our packaging. I can do all of those things. I can edit, a book, which I edited several ecological books at Simon & Schuster, but I can promote that book. I can tell people about Kiss the Ground Again and how we can reverse climate change through no-till farming. There are things we can do. So I just start to take one tiny step to replace my despair, and that one tiny step usually expands my situation a little, leads me to 3 more steps and 4 more steps, and then all of a sudden I'm out of that deep dark place of despair. So don't forget, you do command your personal universe. And you are the universe. There's no one else out there. We've talked about that. So as you're moving into moving out the negative habits, negative thinking patterns, and moving in the positive ones, just remember it can be stopping and having a cup of tea. It can be turning on some music and dancing. It can be 3 deep breaths. It can be calling a friend and telling them how much you love and miss them. Any of those things will put you back in control or back in command of your moment. And you can't control what's going to happen, but you can definitely control your energy in it. You are a sovereign, autonomous being worthy of expansion. This is a very, very important point. So, autonomy means that we are solely autonomous in our being. We actually are a unit. So while we're plugged into the great divine, and while we're plugged into this interpersonal world where we're all connected through the air we breathe and the water we drink and the land we walk on, we are also autonomous. So what we change within us will absolutely help ripple out and help change those around us. So if you notice, if you become the bright light and you start to generate gratitude in a situation where other people are generating fear or negativity, you will start to notice that you become energized from something that is beyond you, from the breath that's breathing you, the light that's seeing through you, the hearing that's behind your hearing, the sight behind the sight, the intuition, the hits you get in your stomach. All of that is really so important to remember. That's within you. That's why every Tuesday we go through a sensory tea ceremony to bring you back into center, because you are sensing the world and it may or may not be sensing you, but you are first sensing the world. So don't forget, you are autonomous, my loves. You are whole, you are complete, and you are absolutely in command of the energy field around your body. Now, while you are in an interdependent world, we do not have or have our we get these triggers, right? So as we're in charge of our universe, we know we're autonomous, we know we're sovereign, we know that we have a right to exist and to expand and to experience the world. We also will get triggered, and many of us are being triggered a lot right now as we're leading up toward the election, as we're stressed out about the environment and the fires. We're worried about COVID, we're worried about our frontline workers and our parents and all of the others. So what happens is that we get these triggers. So when the trigger happens, we have to stop allowing it to send us back into that backflip energy, that falling back energy, that we aren't in charge. That will lead to us rekindling our bad habits. Okay. So for me, it's self-doubt. I have an enormous amount of self-doubt. It's an old program that got programmed into me when I was little, that I can't trust myself. And one thing my friend Susie taught me this week is it happens when we're little and we get hurt, and then our mommies or daddies are like, no, 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 you'll be fine. It's okay, you'll be fine. And what happens is they don't validate your actual experience. And so what happens is you start to doubt your actual experience. So little subtle things like that can actually trigger you to start doubting what you autonomously and in your own sovereign being are experiencing of the world. So right now, if we get triggered, if a friend doesn't agree with us, or an argument ensues, or something, the news is super negative, which it always is. It just seems to be more negative these days. But what happens is that we get triggered, and then we have an internal reaction to the external world, instead of us creating and generating so much light and positivity and hope and energy within us, that we become like a force field. We're beaming out this positive energy. It's not that woo-woo. I mean, all this stuff is proven. So our hearts have a higher electromagnetic field than our brains. It's like, what, 10,000 times? I can't remember the actual number of heart math. But basically, we, through our hearts, can actually regenerate, and we can actually recalibrate, and we can disintegrate these triggers that are coming at us. If we remember to do it, if we remember to take a breath. And if you're like me, patience is your untalent. Patience is my untalent. So I will go, and then I have to stop drop, breathe, right? So just remember, you are a sovereign, autonomous being worthy of expansion. And so when the triggers come, we're going to look at our patterns that come from that. So here's what we're going to do right now. I want you to remember that bad habit that you put to rest. If you weren't here last week or you didn't do the exercise yet, just think of the habit that you want to replace. Okay, so no part of us wants to die, right? No part of us wants to be gotten rid of. We are all that we are. We are everything we've been, every age we've been, every good and bad habit we've had. We are all of it. So we don't necessarily burying it or burning it or flushing it down the toilet, whatever. That tells the subconscious we're complete with it. And yet, what are we going to replace with it? Because no part of us actually wants to die. So we need to do a little cat and mouse game with our bad habits. So what we want to do is we want to think about what we gave up, what we want to replace it with. So rewrite what you gave up and what you want to replace it with right now in your journal. You can also do it in the chats. So write what habit you released last week or which habit you'd like to release now and what you would like to replace it with. And you guys can write into the chat. I'll read as many as I can. Thank God for Montremet. Hardness of heart to compassion. It's a good one, Lisa. Candace says, replacing fear of never succeeding with knowledge that I'm worthy and capable of soaring. Beautiful, sweetheart. I hold that to be true for you. Hi, Nadia. She released people pleasing last week. Yay. And I'm replacing it with time for myself and caring for myself. Reading, writing, drinking tea, taking a minute to breathe. Yay. Hallelujah, girl. Amaran, overspending, replaced with conscious spending. Ooh, I want more details. Keep in touch with me on that. I love that. Navtej, hi love. Releasing need to control with calm awareness and presence in the moment. Beautiful. I need that too. Alexandria, new and honorable people. The disappointers are thrown to the pyre. You're such an artist. Yes, I love that. Hi, Serafina. Habit, she released the anxiety I feel every time I make a decision. Habit, I want to replace it with acceptance and confidence. Beautiful. We're going to get really, really dialed into what we want to replace our bad habits with right now. So the more detail, we're going to put some detail into it. So Terry, replace routine with my gifts of clairvoyance by helping others via tarot. Yay. I love that. Crystal, procrastination and avoidance with soft scheduling and consistency. Soft scheduling. I love that. I'm going to adopt that. Amy Sprite, replacing self-doubt with deep, unwavering strength, belief, and love in self. Yes, Lovey. Margaret, bad habit, questioning our intuition, replacing with meditation. Beautiful. Dr. Cherie, releasing chronic overdoing, replacing self-care, and good old rest. Yeah, the ability to rest. Zhena, control things I can and the stuff I can't, not to worry about. Yeah, it's easier said than done, isn't it? We're going to get deep into these in a minute. Okay. Wendy, funeral for procrastination replaced with accomplished and inner peace knowing I did it. Beautiful. So I'm going to keep going. I love reading all of these, but I just can't get enough of them. So each of you, as I'm giving you the instructions to move forward, you can read the chat on the right hand side. I'm so proud of you all. So let's talk about triggers. Okay, so now that you know what you're putting to rest and what you want to replace it with, let's talk about a very, very specific one or two triggers, the things that trigger us to go back into bad habit land, okay, or back into disbelief land or back into doubt land. Let's look at the triggers. Okay, so when I am feeling out of control, what usually triggers it is a situation where no one's asking for my opinion. or I see the government, or I see somebody doing something that hurts our planet or that hurts workers. And that triggers me because I can't control it. And that is a trigger. I always fight for the underdog. I always want to take care of the workers. I just get really triggered by that. So that's a big trigger for me. So I'm gonna list that as my trigger. So write down something that really is concrete that triggers you to go into the space of the bad habit again, into the autopilot space that you land in when you're being triggered or when you're moving through life. Okay. So what is a trigger? It could be a phone call with somebody, a family member that triggers you. It could be an old body image thing that triggers you. I get triggered. I was getting triggered a lot by body image stuff that was old from childhood. What is triggering you? A very specific trigger. Yeah. So Heather's saying a space where I could have helped if I had been asked, invited, included. Yeah, definitely. Crystal, physical or emotional pain, discomfort. Absolutely. Make sure you're writing these in your journals or on your moon card. Really, really start to look at these triggers. We're going to get really deep into these. Lisa, when I feel I'm being targeted and feel harassed. Amaran, when I get upset or sad, I want to fill it by buying stuff. Okay. But what's the trigger that makes you upset or sad? Let's get really specific into one trigger, something that might be a one-time thing, or it might be a constant thing. It might be something that triggers you over time, or that's always been a trigger, or a person or a place. What triggers you? Natasha, Terry, okay, Karen, memories of past relationships where I was left brokenhearted and alone. Yeah, memories of past relationships. Terry, financial stress triggers. Natasha gets triggered when she's asked to do something she doesn't think she can do, going outside my comfort zone. Yep. So come up with one specific time that you can pinpoint as well, ladies. Sheila, when family members disregard and don't validate my feelings, absolutely. Come up with one specific time. I want one exact story. So now that you're circling these, I want you to go into one time it happened exactly. Elaine, feeling like a failure, go into one time where you felt like the biggest failure and really pinpoint the exact details of that. DeAndrea, thoughts of my painful childhood of abuse, absolutely. Come up with one thought that triggers you the most. Serafina, not being able to immediately and decisively tell what the correct answer or correct choice is. Yes, so feeling less than. Crystal, yes. Nabtej, triggered by loneliness, being abandoned, alone, yes. So I want you to feel all this energy that's coming up in you when you're triggered into going into that subconscious, that negative habit. I want you to feel it in your body, okay? And close your eyes. And if you have a very specific situation where it happened, I want you to go right into it right now. I want you to feel it in every part of your body. I want you to feel it move through your solar plexus is where I always get mine. I feel like I've been punched right in the solar plexus. I want you to feel the brokenhearted feeling. I want you to feel the frustrated, the constriction of the throat. Whatever those feelings are, I want you to feel it absolutely. I want you to feel it absolutely, that trigger and how your body responds to it. Because the body does keep the score. The memory is in your cellular structure. It is in your body. So now as you let yourself feel it fully. Now I want you to breathe right into the sensation of what it is. Breathe right into the tightness in the chest. Breathe right into the feeling of being punched in the gut. Breathe right into, oh, 1 second. Breathe right into, mine's distraction, right? Breathe right into that feeling maybe in your womb, constricted creativity, or in your base of your spine, feelings of not safe, in your head, maybe constriction around your intuitive knowing. Feel it and breathe deep into it. Take 3 deep breaths right into the space where that trigger is. Breathe very, very deeply into it. Energize it with the light of your knowing. Breathe bright white light right into that trigger. And as you visualize the energy in your body, that trigger that is just so immense and so intense, just feel a soothing, cool, sparkling diamond-like light permeating every last cell of that energy, allowing the trigger to become less and less strong the more you breathe in and out slowly. And as the energy of the trigger starts to dissipate, start to feel the energy of what habit you want to create move into the place of that trigger. For me, it's this punch in the gut feeling. I'm going to bring in the comfort of safety, the feeling of trust, being held by the Great Spirit in the arms of safety and unconditional love. Breathe your positive replacement habit and the energy. Maybe it's a color, texture, maybe it has a shape. Breathe it right into where you're triggered most by that old story, the old triggers. Start to feel it let go of you. Start to feel it lessen its energy on you. You may cry a little. I'm crying. You may feel relief. You may feel tingling. But the trigger is in your body. It's a response to the past. It's a somatic reaction to something that is no longer necessarily real. It's an upper limit. So as you breathe the energy of what you want to replace your bad habit with into that trigger, know that you are breaking the spell. You are breaking constriction and pain and all that energy and that negativity and all that stuff you hold as if it's real, because your body at one point believed it was real, and it was real, but it's no longer real. So as you start to become aware of this trigger that moves through you, and each time you breathe in that sparkling diamond energy of that positive habit you are replacing the bad habit with, it will start to lessen its grip more and more. You may need to move, you may need to dance, you may need to stretch, you may need to dance it out. Oh, you may need to breathe it out. You may need to box it out. You may need to drink tea it out. Whatever it is, you may need to scream it or sing it out. But it's got to come out of your body's energy, okay? Because that's where the trigger got set, okay? Okay, so now if you want to just reflect a little, write down a little bit of how that felt for you, how that process was. Yeah. Yeah. I can relate to all of you, lovies. Good, Crystal. That's a great, great book. So what are you replacing your trigger with? I want it to become an energy. I want you to have a visualization for it. So if you're replacing fear with faith, what color is your faith? Okay. Is it turquoise? Is it pink? Is it yellow or orange? I want you to visualize what you're replacing that bad habit and desensitizing yourself to the trigger. I want you to feel through that and write down what it looks like. Texture, taste, sound. What does the new habit, the new mindset, the new process feel like, sound like, smell like, taste like, look like? Daffodils. Beautiful. Sunlight, Elaine, I love it. Love and trust, it feels like home. Karen, yeah, so visualize what home would look like that you can replace it with. Have the desperate desire to distract, breathe through to find the calm waves with the inner storm. Yeah, we like to run from our upper limits. Nancy, a calm lake. Candace, neon purple. Oh, your new habit's neon purple. I love it. Sophie, a feminine purple energy. Ooh, Gina, here's crickets and tree frogs. Crystal, almond blue and warm, yum. DeAndrea, with my children's smiles. Mm. Jessica, peaceful and flowing. What energy is that? What color is it? Melissa, sparkling gold fairy dust. We have the same uh, inner vision. Sylvia, blue ocean. Paula, sunflowers. Amy, Sprite, cobalt blue and sunny yellow. Terry, warm blanket, violet energy surrounding you. Yes. Nadia, purple, smells like vanilla and glitters like a gem. Ooh, purple vanilla, yum. Wait till you guys see the December tea. Almira, lavender, sight and smell. Beautiful, beautiful. Margarita, it smells like ruby rose, yum. Cynthia is replacing it with pink, with an open, expansive feeling, green scent from nature, birds singing in the morning. I love it. Jennifer, tentative footsteps looking for secret mushrooms in the grass. Purple, yay, how cute. Jessica, turquoise ocean waves with cold, fresh, salty spray. Clear pool of cool water surrounded by beautiful earthy floral scents. Judith, a ball of white healing comfort energy growing within and around your body. Oh, queens, look at you. This is who you are. You are autonomous and sovereign in your being. You can take what is this external trigger and you can transmute it like an alchemist, because you are an alchemist. You are absolutely the alchemist of your experience and of the energy that you take in and transmute and give back out. You are a generator. You are a creator. You are in charge of your energy field. And within that energy field, as long as you can pinpoint these triggers and kind of like take the power away from the trigger and replace it with a higher energy, a higher vibration, a higher thought, a more positive and helpful energy that serves you, that serves your soul. You can do this in 1 second sometimes. You're going to get so good at that this week. You're going to be so profoundly delicious at doing that, that I see each of you finding that your triggers get less and less intense and get more and more like friends, like teachers, till the trigger comes to you and you go, hi, old friend, let me flash a little gold fairy dust on you. What do you have to teach me today? Right? Instead of, oh, I suck. Oh, I can't do it. Oh, I'm going to fail. Oh, I'm not loved. All of that. We're going to let that shit go. All right. We're done with that. That's not the mindset of us. All right, ladies, I am going to wrap this. I feel a lot of energy. I want to go journal more and work on this. I'm being a little selfish, cutting us a little short today. And I am going to get to work on my triggers because I have been getting triggered all day long. So, with that, I close the circle with all the love in the whole universe, directed directly at your heart, directly at your spirit, directly at your soul. We are all one. We are a T circle that can never be broken. And we will always, always have each other from now to eternity. Because although these little bodies don't last all that long, our souls are eternal and we are all one. And with that, I bid you cheers. Have a beautiful night. I love you, and I will see you next Tuesday. Okay. Mwah. See you soon. Love you. Thanks for joining. Bye.